Welcome back. All right, so we're up to the end, the 2023-2024 season, in a video series that I started before the playoffs were done this year. So it's been a long run through of this series. I hope for people who've watched it from start to finish, I hope you've enjoyed it. And yeah, so let's get into the 2023-2024 season. I've enjoyed doing these videos. I've always enjoyed doing historical videos. I know that they don't draw the eyeballs that other content does, but I do enjoy doing them. So this past season, of course, Florida ends up winning the Atlantic. As you can see, this is the only time I'm wearing a Florida jersey, and Florida fans will say, well, it's the most important because it's this year. So 52, 24, and 6 was the record, 110 points, 268 goals scored, 260 goals against. They rallied late in the season. They win the division. Now, for each team, I've put their top scoring rookie. In the case of Florida, none of the rookies got points. Sam Miscavige, though, got into 7 games, so he didn't have a point, but he got into the most games of rookies on the team. Boston finishes 47, 20, and 15, 109 points. While Florida's charging, Boston's fading. 267 goals scored, 224 goals against. Poitras, the leading scorer amongst rookies, 33 games, 5 goals, 10 assists, 15 points. He generated some excitement this past season. Toronto, 46, 26, and 10 record, 102 points, 303 goals scored, 263 goals against. Matthew Knies, the top scoring rookie for Toronto, 80 games, 15 goals, 20 assists for 35 points. The Tampa Bay Lightning, 45, 29, and 8 record, 98 points, 291 goals scored, 268 goals against. Chaffee, the top scoring rookie for Tampa, 30 games, 4 goals, 3 assists, 70 points. Imagine 40 goals in 30 games. Detroit finishes just below the playoff line. So they missed the playoffs by 1 point to the Washington Capitals. They finished 41, 32, and 9 for 91 points, 278 goals scored, 274 goals against. Washington makes the playoffs because they had more regulation wins. Edvinsson, the only rookie of note that got points, 16 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points for Edvinsson. The Buffalo Sabres, 39, 37, and 6 record, 84 points. And disappointing because they were only 1 point away from making the playoffs the year before. 246 goals scored, 244 goals against. Benson, the leading scorer amongst the rookies, 71 games, 11 goals, 19 assists, 30 points. The Ottawa Senators finished 37, 41, and 4. Also a disappointing result. 78 points, 255 goals scored, 281 goals against. Ridley Gregg, their leading scorer amongst rookies, 72 games, 13 goals, 13 assists, 26 points. The Montreal Canadiens, 30, 36, and 16, 76 points, so gradually getting better, but still at the bottom. 236 goals scored, 289 goals against. Struble, the leading scorer amongst the rookies, 56 games, 3 goals, 7 assists, 10 points. Hard-nosed defenseman. The Metropolitan is won by the New York Rangers, who also win the President's Trophy that year. 55, 23, and 4 record for the Rangers, 114 points, 282 goals scored, 229 goals against. Cooley, the leading scorer for the Rangers, 81 games, 13 goals, 8 assists, 21 points. Still weird to me that's pronounced Cooley. Carolina, 52, 23, and 7, 279 goals scored, 216 goals against, 111 points. Ponomariev ends up being their leading rookie scorer, even though he gets traded. 2 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points for Ponomariev. The New York Islanders finished 39, 27, and 16, 94 points, 246 goals scored, 263 goals against. Kyle McLean, their leading scorer amongst rookies, 32 games, 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points. The Washington Capitals, 40, 31, and 11, 91 points, 220 goals scored, 257 goals against. So both the Islanders and the Capitals with a negative goal differential. Usually that tells you who makes the playoffs. Not this season. Lapierre, the leading scorer amongst rookies, 51 games, 8 goals, 14 assists for 22 points. Just below the playoff line, the Penguins. So for the second straight season, the Penguins missed the playoffs. 38, 32, and 12 record. 88 points, 255 goals scored, 251 goals against. They're caught in that interesting spot where you can make the argument they're close to the playoffs. You can also make the argument they should do some sort of a rebuild because they've missed the playoffs. Puustinen being their leading scoring rookie this past season, 52 games, 5 goals, 15 assists for 21 points. 20 points, I should say. Philadelphia, 38, 33, and 11 record, 87 points, 235 goals scored, 261 goals against. Forster, their leading scorer amongst rookies, 77 games, 20 goals, 13 assists for 33 points. The New Jersey Devils finished 38, 39, and 5, 81 points for them, 264 goals scored, 283 goals against. So when you look at goals scored, they're fine. It's the goals against that were a problem. They've tried to address that this offseason. We'll see when I do the 24-25 season next year whether or not that's been fixed. But Luke Hughes, the leading scorer amongst rookies, 82 games, 9 goals, 38 assists, 47 points. Columbus, at the bottom of the division, 27, 43, and 12 record, 66 points, 237 goals scored, 300 goals against. Voronkov, the leading scorer amongst rookies, 75 games, 18 goals, 16 assists, 34 points. Out west, Dallas ends up being first in the West and first in their division, obviously. 52, 21, and 9 record for them, 113 points, 298 goals scored, 234 goals against. And Stankoven, the leading scorer amongst rookies, 24 games, 6 goals, 8 assists, 14 points. The Winnipeg Jets, 52, 24, and 6 record, 110 points for them. 259 goals scored, 199 goals against. Chabrikov had a goal in the only game he played. I believe that was against Vancouver. Not a lot of rookie scorers in Winnipeg that year. The Colorado Avalanche, 50, 25, and 7 record, 107 points, 304 goals scored, 254 goals against. Malinsky, the leading scorer amongst rookies, 23 games, 3 goals, 7 assists, 10 points for Malinsky. The Nashville Predators finished 47, 30, and 5. So 99-point season for them, 269 goals scored, 248 goals against. Evangelista, their leading scorer amongst rookies, 80 games, 16 goals, 23 assists for 39 points. The St. Louis Blues, they played well at points. They still end up finishing short of the playoffs. 92-point season, record of 43, 33, and 6. 239 goals scored, 250 goals against. Perunovic, their highest scorer amongst rookies, with 17 assists in 54 games. The Minnesota Wild, 39, 34, and 9 record. 87 points, 251 goals scored, 263 goals against. Brock Faber has quite the rookie season, ends up being second in Vezina voting. 82 games, 8 goals, 39 assists, 47 points. The final season for the Arizona Coyotes, 36, 20, 41, and 5 record, 77 points, 256 goals scored, 274 goals against. Logan Cooley, the leading scorer amongst rookies, 82 games, 20 goals, 24 assists, 44 points. Feels like he's just scratching the surface. For Chicago, they finished 23, 53, and 6, 52 points, 179 goals scored, 290 goals against. Connor Bedard, the leading scorer amongst rookies, 68 games, 22 goals, 39 assists, 61 points. And Bedard, excellent rookie season. This coming season, now that he's got some better line mates there, we should see his numbers get better, including that plus minus. In the Pacific, that's won by Vancouver. Huge surprise for Vancouver to win the division this past year. They go 50, 23, and 9, 109 points, 279 goals scored, 223 goals against. No rookies they had any points this year, but Baines plays 8 games, the most games for any rookie. We'll see how many he gets in this season. Edmonton finishes second. They charge after firing the coach early in the season. Woodcroft's out, Knobloch's in, and then Edmonton goes on quite the run. They finished 49, 27, and 6 for 104 points, 294 goals scored, 237 goals against. Hamblin, the leading scorer amongst rookies, 31 games, 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 points. The LA Kings, third again, 44, 27, and 11 record, 99 points, 256 goals scored, 215 goals against. Laferriere, the leading scorer amongst rookies, 81 games, 12 goals, 11 assists for 23 points. The Vegas Golden Knights, 45, 29, and 8, 98 points, 267 goals scored, 245 goals against. Dorofeev, the leading scorer amongst rookies, 47 games, 13 goals, 11 assists, 24 points. Just below the playoff line, Calgary, 38, 39, and 5 record, 81 points, 253 goals scored, 271 goals against. Zary gets the highest number of points amongst rookies, 63 games, 14 goals, 20 assists, 34 points. And the veterans, if they're on an expiring contract, they're out of Calgary. So a lot of veteran talent leaving, Backlund being the one that does sign to stick around. The Seattle Kraken up first here. 34, 35, and 13 record, 81 points, 217 goals scored, 236 goals against. They can't score this season. They dropped by 19 points from the season before. Will they get their scoring back? Maybe Karche can help with that. He's the leading scorer amongst rookies, 77 games, 11 goals, 9 assists, 20 points. The Anaheim Ducks, 27, 50, and 5 record, 59 points, 204 goals scored, 295 goals against. Leo Karlsson, 55 games, 12 goals, 17 assists, 29 points. They bring him along slowly. It's a lot of load management in that rookie season. And Karlsson looked pretty good at points, so we'll see how he does in his second season. The San Jose Sharks are last in the division and last overall as they try to get Macklin Celebrini, which they would at the draft. 19, 54-9 record, 47 points, 181 goals scored, 331 goals against. It is a rough year for the Sharks and their fans. Thrun, the leading scorer amongst rookies, 51 games, 3 goals, 8 assists, 11 points. So this is also the final season of a flat cap we have seen in the summer of 2024. The salary cap going up, but at this point it's staying the same. And so any movement during the flat cap era was very, very small, very, very slight. And of course, 2024, we're finally starting to see those numbers going in the right direction. So the Coyotes get sold to Utah. It's a bizarre setup. Basically, Morello gives up everything except the team's name and all the rights that are around it, and the team's history stays with him too, while the team, the coaches, the trainers, everybody goes to Utah. It's bizarre, but Utah is joining the league for the 2024-2025 season, and Morello gives up on bringing back the Coyotes after the auction gets canceled because somebody didn't check what was supposed to be done or whatever. Basically, at this point in time, whether Morello knew that they'd have to change the zoning or not, it doesn't matter. In the end, the Arizona Coyotes, and again, people want to talk about how they don't have any fans. Anyways, they do, and I feel bad for those people. I absolutely do. David Poile retires as Preds GM, so Barry Trott's taken over there. Kyle Dubas leaves Toronto for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Just a difference of opinion between himself and the Leafs, and he goes to Pittsburgh, where the plan is to get them back to the Stanley Cup. And of course, the first season under Dubas, they barely missed the playoffs again. July 1st of 2023, the Preds buy out Matt Duchene, so he signs with the Dallas Stars, goes to a division rival, has a pretty good season in Dallas as well. Corey Perry signs with the Hawks, famously ends up having a divorce with the Hawks. Rumors run rampant and all that, but he ends up with the Edmonton Oilers. He definitely was a lot less noisy off the ice with the Oilers than he was with Chicago. And so that happens, and of course, Corey Perry gets a run to the final, and that's where things end for Perry's usually in the final. He has one Stanley Cup ring. That's from his first season, I believe, in 2007. I think he was a rookie that year. It's close to it. It was very close to his rookie season if he wasn't. August 6th of 2023, the Sharks trade Erik Karlsson. They trade Hamaliuk with him as well, and a 2026 third to the Penguins for Jan Ruda, for Granlund, Hoffman, and a conditional first-round pick. What I thought was amazing about this was the whole cap hit, almost the whole cap hit anyways, I believe. I think it's $10 million of that cap hit goes to Pittsburgh. Either way, for San Jose to get out from under that contract, just crazy. On January 8th of 2024, the Flyers trade Cutter Gauthier, who was not going to play for Philadelphia, made that clear, to the Ducks for Drysdale and a 2025 second-round draft pick. A trade that we're still deciding whether that was a good one for Anaheim, for Philadelphia, or is it a saw-off. On March the 8th of 2024, the Sharks trade Hurdle and a 2025 third-round draft pick, a 2027 third as well, to the Vegas Golden Knights for Edstrom and a 2025 first-round pick. So Hurdle's contract being traded over to Vegas. I still think this is a move for San Jose that I understand and I'm fine with, but there are still people who think that Vegas basically robs the Sharks in this deal. LTIR, of course, in the spotlight because of the Vegas Golden Knights and Mark Stone. We'll see if the NHL ever does anything about it. There are some GMs who want something done about it, and we'll see. The idea being maybe if a guy's on LTIR to end the season, they can't appear in the first round of the playoffs. That kind of thing. More players also willing to enter the NHLPA or NHLPA Player Assistance Program. One that had a negative stigma around it. The idea that toughen up and you should need this kind of thing, and that mentality has changed now around the world of hockey. So the Art Ross Trophy's won by Nikita Kucherov of the Tampa Bay Lightning, one of the few guys not named Connor to win a trophy this year. The Masterton goes to Connor Ingram of the Arizona Coyotes. The Calder goes to Connor Bedard of the Chicago Blackhawks. The Conn Smythe goes to Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers. The Selke Trophy goes to Alexander Barkov of the Florida Panthers. I knew it was Alexander. The Hart Trophy goes to Nathan McKinnon of the Colorado Avalanche. The Jack Adams goes to Rick Tocchet of the Vancouver Canucks. The Canucks also taking home the Norris Trophy, with Quinn Hughes winning that. The Lady Byng goes to Jacob Slavin of the Carolina Hurricanes. The Ted Lindsay goes to Nathan McKinnon of the Colorado Avalanche. The Rocket Richard goes to Austin Matthews of the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Jim Gregory Award for GM of the Year goes to Jim Nill of the Dallas Stars. The Vezina goes to Connor Hellebuck of the Winnipeg Jets, who also wins the Jennings Trophy with the Winnipeg Jets. So Connor Hellebuck, Connor McDavid, Connor Bedard, Connor Ingram. Does your team have a Connor? They have a chance to win a trophy. The All-Star Awards at the end of the year. At center, Nathan McKinnon of Colorado first team, Connor McDavid of the Oilers second team. On the left side, Artemi Panarin of the Rangers first team, Philip Forsberg of Nashville second team. On the right side, Nikita Kucherov of Tampa Bay first team, and David Pastrnak of the Bruins second team. On defense, Quinn Hughes of Vancouver and Roman Josi of Nashville are first team. On the second team, Adam Fox of the Rangers and Cale Makar of the Colorado Avalanche on the second team. And in net, Connor Hellebuck of Winnipeg first team, Thatcher Demko of Vancouver on the second team. So again, Nikita Kucherov wins the Art Ross. He's the number one scorer. 81 games, 44 goals, 100 assists, 144 points. 100 assists, a number we haven't had on this board in a while in this series. Nathan McKinnon of Colorado, 82 games, 51 goals, 89 assists for 140 points. Connor McDavid in Edmonton, 76 games, 32 goals, also 100 assists, 132 points. Artemi Panarin of the Rangers, 82 games, 49 goals, 71 assists, 120 points. They did everything in that final regular season game to get him that 50th goal. Pastrnak in Boston, 82 games, 47 goals, 63 assists, 110 points. Austin Matthews in Toronto, 81 games, 69 goals, 38 assists, 107 points. And of course, the Leafs were doing everything they could to get Matthews to 70 goals. Draisaitl, 81 games, 41 goals, 65 assists, 106 points for the Oilers. Mikko Rantanen of Colorado, 80 games, 42 goals, 62 assists, 104 points. JT Miller in Vancouver, 81 games, 37 goals, 66 assists, 103 points. And William Nylander in Toronto, 82 games, 40 goals, 58 assists for 98 points. In net, your wins leader ends up being Alexander Georgiev of the Avalanche, 38, 18, and 5 record, 897 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Hellebuck, 37, 19, and 4 record with the Jets, 921 save percentage, 5 shutouts. Bobrovsky in Florida, 36, 17, and 4 record, 915 save percentage, 6 shutouts. Shesterkin in New York for the Rangers, 36, 17, and 2 record, 912 save percentage, 4 shutouts. And Stuart Skinner of the Oilers, 36, 16, and 5, 905 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. And Skinner's an odd goaltender. He can look great some nights, not great the others. We'll see what his future holds. We get to the playoffs. Boston plays Toronto. It's a bad matchup for Toronto. Boston wins 4-3. Carolina beats the Islanders 4-1. And the Rangers sweep Washington 4-0. So for people who didn't want to see the Islanders and the Caps in the playoffs, felt they wouldn't be able to match up, the results tell you they may have had a point. The Florida Panthers beat Tampa Bay 4-1 in a pretty authoritative beatdown of their state rivals. And it's always fun when they play against one another. We'll see if this coming season maybe Tampa Bay goes for some revenge. The Edmonton Oilers beat LA in their 3rd straight meeting, 4-1 this time around. Dallas beats Vegas 4-3. Thrilling series there. Vancouver beats Nashville 4-2 in a somewhat testy defensive setup of a series where Thatcher Demko would get hurt. Colorado beats Winnipeg 4-1, and then we get to the second round. Second round, Edmonton beats Vancouver 4-3, so the Canucks did everything they could, just could not beat the Oilers in the end. Dallas beats Colorado 4-2. Florida beats Boston 4-2, so Boston doesn't get any measure of revenge there. The Rangers beat Carolina 4-2. So we get to the conference final. In the conference final, Edmonton and Dallas. The Oilers win in Dallas 3-2 in double overtime. Dallas wins 3-1 to tie the series, and then they win in Edmonton 5-3. Happiness ends there for Dallas. The Oilers win 5-2 at home. They go into Dallas. They win 3-1, and then they come home and win 2-1. They win the series in 6. They're going to the Stanley Cup Final. Florida and the Rangers in the other conference final. Florida wins in New York 2-0. The Rangers win the second game at home 2-1 in overtime. Rangers win in Florida 5-4 in overtime, and then Florida picks it up. They win in overtime 3-2. They go to New York, they win 3-2, and then they come home and they win 2-1. So the games are all close, but Florida wins the series in 6 games. Brings us to the Stanley Cup Final. Florida wins the first 3 games, 3-0 and 4-1 at home, and then they go to Edmonton and win 4-3. The 4th game, Edmonton destroys them 8-1. The narrative by some is that Florida they wanted to win at home. They don't win at home, not right away. Game 5, Edmonton wins 5-3, and then Edmonton goes home and wins 5-1. So Edmonton destroys Florida for 3 games, but then Florida gets it together in Game 7. They win 2-1. They avoid the dreaded 3-0 series comeback. They win the series in 7, and they win their first Stanley Cup. Connor McDavid leads in scoring in that final, 3 goals and 8 assists. He would win the Conn Smythe, which some people didn't like. Fogle, 2 goals and 3 assists. Bouchard with 5 assists. Hyman and Janmark both had 2 goals and 2 assists in that final. Skinner, a .909 save percentage in the Stanley Cup Final. On the Florida side of things, Rodriguez, 4 goals and 3 assists, as he shows how underrated he is. Barkov, 2 goals, 3 assists. Lundell had 5 assists in the final. Verhaeghe and Reinhart both had 2 goals and 2 assists in the Stanley Cup Final. And Bobrovsky, an .899 save percentage. So while Sergei was great through the first 3 rounds and was a front runner for the Conn Smythe, I think games 4 through 6 in this series might have cost him that Conn Smythe consideration. And then it leaned in favor of Connor McDavid, who had a ridiculous run in the playoffs. But maybe he just won it because his name's Connor, and they wanted as many Connors with trophies and trophies with the name Connor on them as possible. No idea. But either way, 2023-2024 season. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you've not done so already. Again, the series is now done. So I may add to this playlist, because there is a whole playlist of this, I may add to this playlist during the season with certain historical events, that kind of thing, because in the title of the playlist, I do have historical events in there. It's not just the season by season look. But yeah, so I will be adding to that later. So thank you guys so much for all your support. If you haven't already hit like and subscribe, please do. And maybe some new fans to the game watch this series, and now they have some understanding of how the league got to where it is now. And we'll see if I need to have 34 magnets on the board sooner rather than later. But thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.